What's going on, guys? It's Nate with NML Racing. Today we're going to be bringing you Oulton Park. Managed to set a pretty decent time here, and I've put a lot of laps in, and I feel really comfortable at this track. I do think it's one of the more fun tracks that ACC has to offer. Kind of feels like a roller coaster sometimes. One of those old wooden ones with a lot of bumps in it. And so, yeah, we'll watch it one time through at full speed, and then we'll kind of break it down. Super fun track. The bumps can be kind of tough to deal with, but once you learn to expect them and you know how the wheel's going to react, yeah, it's just a matter of maintaining your position and keeping your speed up. Over the curb here. Just tippy-toeing through here. You can't be too hard on the throttle or the brakes. As soon as you lose traction, your time is done. Little mess up. Probably lost us a 10th there. And that is a lap. We'll go through and we'll break this down a little bit slower. Alright, so you made it through the first corner. Get as much speed as you possibly can. And then up here, we're already off to the left-hand side, of course, where we want to be. Open up that corner as much as we can. We're looking for where the white line turns dark from the tire marks there. Hard on the brakes, and we're already pitching it to the right just a little bit, and then we're trail braking until we basically get to the apex here. And then after that, we're still steering and letting the car do the work, just letting it rotate, and then we're back on the throttle. And you got to be on the left going into this corner so you can stay far right as much as you can. Don't hit the grass. Before this bump, back it up a little bit. You can see this bump up here, this little dip in the road. You want to get on the brakes just right before it dips down so you can grab all of that extra traction from when you hit the rise in the road. So we're on the brakes hard, and we're already looking to the inside here, letting the car rotate, but you can see we're already off of the brakes a little bit. One more time, I'm going to move my mouse so you can see my brake input. We're already easing off of the brakes. It's important to try and maintain that speed all the way through here. So we're off the brakes, a little more steering input here to finish off the corner. And then we're going to straighten out, let the car run out wide. You can take a lot of this dirt, actually. It's a surprising amount. I haven't gotten the track limits there yet, but you can take a whole lot. So just test it out for yourself. Then we're hammering down this straight on the right. And then as soon as you hit that access road, turn to the left, shift down. By shifting down into fourth, those rear wheels are going to slow down just a little bit and help rotate the car. And then we're back on the excuse me, back on the throttle as quick as we can. And then let's go back here for a second. Yeah, so you can see where the braking line is here, because ACC is kind to us and just gives us that. So as soon as the road gets dark there from the rubbering in, we're hard on the brakes, off to the left as far as we can, but we were just full throttle, so it might not be all the way to the left. And then you just want to trail brake until about halfway through this corner and then let the car do the work. Stay nice and tight so you can get on the throttle early. And this chicane is a tricky one. You're going to wait for this orange bollard on the right here. Often it gets knocked down. If it does get knocked down, fortunately, there's this little drainage block here, and that is going to be your marker if this gets knocked down. If you're in a decent lobby, maybe it won't get hit, but oftentimes it does. Hard on the brakes, and what we're aiming for is for our left tires to go over just the left side of this sausage curb. And another thing you'll note, I'm going to give it time. Another thing you'll note, right before you get to this, you want to lift off of the brakes. So you let that suspension work for you, and then it's back on the brakes. Trail brake into this corner, release, back on the throttle as you straighten out, and then you can cut this as well. This is surprisingly smooth, even though it looks pretty bumpy. Hammer on that throttle all the way down until you get to the one board. As soon as you pass the one board, maybe right after, it's hard on the brakes. And then you can see this black marker right here. You want to turn in just right before it. I clipped this sausage curb a little bit. You don't have to. Little blip of the throttle, maybe a tap on the brakes, and then we're rotating to the left again, and then smooth back on the throttle, or just full grit like I just did. And then it's off to the left-hand side. And basically, as soon as you get over to the left, we're going to be smooth with our steering input and try and get that car rotated to the right. On the throttle as quick as we can. You can see we're already full on. Note for this corner is it's really easy to lose control if you go too far and run off of this. I mean, for some reason, even though these curbs, they have a fair amount of grip, this one is different and it just sucks your car off to the left. And so if you do run a bit wide, there's a good chance that you're going to lose all control and end up in the wall over here. I've done it a few times. Back on the throttle, making sure to not run off the track. All the way up the hill, take it as straight as you can. And then already we're prepping. We're kind of in the middle there. We hug this left side, and as soon as this kink straightens out, we're on the brakes, and we're already looking at this inside corner. Because if we do this first corner correctly, we're basically double apexing this. The car drifts out to the left a little bit, but we're already off the brakes, and we're back on the throttle. Hard. And run off to the left, use as much as you can. And then it's back down the back straight. Braking marker up here is this white corner board. You can brake a little bit after it, but not much. And then as you're braking, you want to move over to the right, hug this inside. You'll get a little extra traction from this being an uphill, but then the extra traction you gain, you're going to lose in terms of acceleration. So your traction control is going to have to take a brunt of the work. And then hammer straight through again. And that's a lap at Oulton Park. My goodness, somebody's just having a heyday out there. What a nuisance. Bro. All right. Well, now that that guy's done revving the piss out of his motor, let's talk setup. Tire temps, you're gonna have to figure that out on your own in terms of what the track temp is. It's 24 degrees. This is what I started with. Are still running max toe on the fronts for, I feel like for a 25-minute race, this is going to be fine. Anything longer and you might run into some issues. We're doing max camber all the way around as well. Caster at 8.7, and then 0.07 positive toe on the rear just to try and get a little more grip out of the corners. Electronics, I've always done well with 3 and 3. Sometimes I'll bump the ABS down to 2, but 3 and 3 is pretty good. Front brakes, rear brakes, you want them on 1, obviously, unless you're qualifying. Some people use 2, I don't. Mechanical grip. So this is a really bumpy track. So I've gone back and forth between having 135,000 and 150,000 Newton meters up front, but I do feel like I can feel a little more traction with 135,000 on the front, so a little softer. And then the rear, we really went softer with 120, and it does make the car a tad more unstable, but the extra grip is there, and I feel like on this track, grip is everything. So 135 on the front, 120 on the rear. Bump stop ranges, I really haven't messed with those. I left those. Anti-roll bar in the back is 1. Because it's a bumpy track and there's a lot of corners that are kind of off camber or twisty, whatever, I feel like having that little extra play in the rear end helps maintain some grip. Preload differential, for a long time I was running 80 Newton meters, but then I found 60 a lot easier to be consistent with. You just got to be careful not to let the car over rotate and be really, really soft on your inputs through those slow speed corners. Dampers, these are what my dampers are at. I haven't checked these in Motec yet. I tried yesterday, and for some reason my histogram wasn't showing up. But it feels good, and it worked for me. So, aero, ride height at 58. You can bump that up. It makes the car corner a little bit easier, but I feel like it's nice and planted at 58. Rear wing at 7, and then the front just slammed to the ground. So I kept it pretty simple this time. Haven't messed around a whole lot, but just found the things that I thought needed work and addressed those. Other than that, you don't got to make it more complicated than what it is. If you're looking for that last half second, then yeah, you got to dive into Motec. But this has just been trial and error, feeling the car on the track and seeing what I needed to fix. So if you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe if you want more. Going to be doing Silverstone next week. Show your family, friends, aunt and uncles. Appreciate all you being here. You guys have a great day. We'll see you on the track.